This is evidence collected today. DEA and Marshals worked together on this one. Get in the car.
Mississippi meth kingpin Calvin Baskin is slammed with 13 years. An explosive DEA takedown shattered his empire, fiercely reclaiming our streets.
What made Calvin Baskin have to pay the price with the harsh sentence of 13 years in prison? What fierce battle took place between the DEA forces and the underworld to reclaim peace for the state of Mississippi?
In a major DEA takedown, Calvin Baskin, the Mississippi meth kingpin, was sentenced to 13 years. The operation began in the threat zone with coordinated DEA arrest and a seizure of over 2 pounds of crystal meth.
This case file is not only a breathtaking legal victory, but also reveals shocking truths about the horrifying destructive power of crystal meth on peaceful residential areas. Let's join us in uncovering the entire dramatic investigation process right here. What do you think? Is this sentence strong enough to deter those who sow the White Death? Please leave a comment to share your perspective, and at the same time hit like and subscribe to the channel to continue accompanying us in the most captivating case files. On a day in April in the year 2026, the United States justice system recorded an important victory in the war against drug crime in the state of Mississippi. Calvin Baskin, a 55-year-old man living in the city of Columbus, officially received a sentence of 13 years in prison, equivalent to 157 months, for the crime of trafficking more than 50 grams of methamphetamine, also known as crystal meth. This case is not just a simple sentence, but also carries a profound message about protecting the community from the dangerous harms of addictive substances. The incident originated from an arrest that took place on the 8th day of August in the year 2024. In the face of clear and irrefutable evidence, Calvin Baskin pleaded guilty before the United States District Court for the Northern District of Mississippi. Judge Glenn H. Davidson personally announced the sentence of 157 months in prison and also required the defendant to serve an additional 5 years of supervised release after completing his prison term. This sentence reflects the strictness of the law in handling acts of drug trafficking that harm society. The successful investigation was thanks to the close cooperation between many law enforcement agencies from the local to the federal level. The participating units included the Drug Enforcement Administration DEA, the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office, the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics, and the United States Marshals Service. This coordination helped gather sufficient evidence, leading to a successful prosecution by Assistant United States Attorney Clyde McGee. Such joint efforts demonstrate the high sense of responsibility of the authorities in maintaining community security. DEA Special Agent in Charge Anessa Daniels McCaw stated that the trafficking of crystal meth brings nothing but misery and crime right to our doorstep. She affirmed that this sentence reflects the seriousness of the threat from illegal drugs, and at the same time committed that the DEA and its partners will never falter in investigating and prosecuting those who put profit above the safety of the community. These words awaken a shared sense of responsibility in every citizen. Lowndes County Sheriff Eddie Hawkins expressed deep gratitude for the strong and lasting cooperation between the agencies and the dedicated prosecution by the United States Attorney's Office. He declared that this sentence sends a clear message that those who illegally traffic drugs and endanger the community will definitely be held accountable before the law. He also reaffirmed the commitment to protecting citizens through continued cooperation in sharing intelligence and coordinating law enforcement. This steadfastness brings hope for a safer living environment. Looking at the case from a broader perspective, United States Attorney Scott F. Leary shared that the people of Mississippi have a tradition of working hard and dedicating themselves to building the state into a wonderful place to live and raise a family. However, the drug trafficking trade has been and continues to bring daily violence to many neighborhoods. Solving this problem at its root requires the tireless and dangerous efforts of state and federal officers. He emphasized that in some sense this case may seem ordinary, but in reality it is not, because the investigation and prosecution reflect the daily vigilance of law enforcement forces. From this story, we can draw valuable lessons about the need for every individual to clearly recognize the consequences of getting involved with drugs. Drugs not only destroy the physical and mental health of users, but also cause damage to families and the entire society. Young people in particular need to be educated early about the risks to avoid falling into this dangerous cycle. Families and schools play an important role in building a sense of responsibility for future generations. Let us all reflect that if each of us joins hands to protect the community, then cases like this will gradually decrease. Obeying the law and promptly reporting suspicious activities is a small but meaningful way to contribute to the common effort. The community becomes stronger when everyone works together to create a healthy environment with no room for drug crime. What do you think about the role of cooperation between functional agencies in fighting drug crime? What can each family do to prevent their children from accessing addictive substances? And how can we spread this educational message to more people? The case of Calvin Baskin falls within the framework of two major national security strategies of the United States. The first is the Homeland Security Task Force initiative established by executive order with the goal of protecting the American people from invasion. This force focuses on eliminating criminal gangs' transnational organized crime, as well as smuggling and human trafficking networks. They pay special attention to investigating crimes related to children and use every tool to prosecute the most violent criminals. The second strategy is the Safe Neighborhoods Project, also known as Project Safe Neighborhoods. This program connects all levels of law enforcement and the community to minimize violent crime and gun violence. Based on the violent crime reduction strategy implemented by the Department of Justice since the year 2021, the project focuses on strengthening trust within the community, supporting grassroots organizations for violence prevention, establishing strategic enforcement priorities, and measuring specific results. These efforts carry profound humanitarian value because they aim to build a safe and prosperous society. Through the sentence given to Calvin Baskin, we clearly see that the law is always fair and strict toward violations. However, in addition to punishment, there needs to be education to help everyone clearly understand the value of a healthy life. Community programs can organize workshops sharing real-life stories about the consequences of drugs to raise awareness. This not only prevents crime, but also awakens the spirit of solidarity in society. Every day, law enforcement forces continue to work silently to protect us from invisible threats. They face danger, but still persevere for a noble goal of bringing peace to the people. We should express our gratitude to these silent soldiers by supporting them through obeying regulations and participating in prevention activities. Support from the community will give them more motivation to continue their mission. Imagine a neighborhood where children can play without fear of negative influences from drugs. That is exactly the goal that the security strategies are aiming for. By educating our children about a positive lifestyle and encouraging participation in sports and cultural activities, we can build a young generation that is healthy both physically and mentally. Families play a foundational role in conveying these good values. From a humanitarian perspective, the case reminds us of the power of forgiveness and second chances for those who have made mistakes after serving their sentences. However, during that process, close supervision is needed to ensure they do not re-offend. Community recovery programs can support those who have completed their sentences to reintegrate into society in a healthy way. This demonstrates the compassionate spirit of modern society. The biggest lesson from this story is that drugs are not a solution to any problem in life. On the contrary, they only bring pain and loss to both individuals and families. Those who are facing difficulties should seek help from psychologists or support organizations instead of turning to addictive substances. Building a balanced lifestyle with work study and rest will help avoid dangerous temptations. The Mississippi community, with its tradition of hard work and dedication, is gradually overcoming the challenges from drug crime thanks to effective coordination. Every resident has the responsibility to participate in protecting their living environment. By joining community meetings or volunteering to support law enforcement, we can make a small contribution to the big picture of national security. Let us also reflect that education does not stop at school but needs to be widely spread through media and social networks. Real-life stories like the case of Calvin Baskin can be used as reference materials to warn the younger generation. Parents should spend time having open conversations with their children about the potential risks in today's society. Closeness and listening will help build trust and effective prevention. Have you ever thought about participating in a community education program on drug prevention? What can we do to support families who are facing difficulties due to the influence of addictive substances? And how can this strict sentence become a motivation for positive change in society? Continuing the flow of the story, we see that the sentence does not stop at punishment, but is also a warning to those who are considering stepping onto the wrong path. Crystal meth, with its high addictive power, can destroy a life in a very short time. Those who have witnessed the consequences often share that they regret not realizing it sooner. Therefore, raising awareness early is the key. Law enforcement agencies are constantly improving investigation methods to deal with increasingly sophisticated crime. The use of modern technology combined with community intelligence has brought many successes, as in this case. This proves that when technology and people work together, efficiency will be significantly enhanced. The community needs to trust and support so that these efforts continue to be effective. In a broader context, the sentence for Calvin Baskin contributes to the nation's common goal of creating safe neighborhoods. Project Safe Neighborhoods not only focuses on law enforcement, but also encourages the participation of local residents. When everyone joins hands, collective strength will far surpass individual efforts. This is the humanitarian spirit that we need to nurture. Imagine a future where children in Mississippi grow up in an environment without the shadow of drugs. Sports activities, youth clubs, and education programs will help fill the gaps and guide a healthy lifestyle. Parents and teachers need to coordinate closely to monitor and provide timely support when detecting abnormal signs. Genuine care will bring long-term positive results. Returning to the details of the case, the arrest in the year 2024 opened a chain of actions leading to a fair sentence. Evidence was collected carefully, ensuring objectivity and compliance with legal procedures. This strengthens the people's trust in the justice system. A just society will encourage everyone to live according to proper moral standards. From the community education perspective, schools can integrate content on drug prevention into the curriculum. Students need to be equipped with knowledge to protect themselves from misleading invitations. Organizing talks with experts or former addicts will create a deep impression and help students better understand reality. Education like this is not just theory, but also highly practical. The family is the basic cell of society, so parents need to set an example by maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Avoiding the use of stimulants and spending time with children will create a solid foundation for comprehensive development. When families are happy, the community will also encounter fewer negative problems. This is a valuable lesson that we can apply every day. Law enforcement forces, with their silent sacrifices, deserve respect from the whole society. They not only arrest criminals, but also prevent potential tragedies. Every successful sentence, like Calvin Baskin's case, is proof of that dedication. We should show our gratitude by obeying the law and participating in local security support activities. Let us together build a brighter future by spreading positive messages about a life without drugs. Every story shared on social media or in daily conversations can create a spreading impact. When many people act together, change will happen quickly and sustainably. That is the power of a united community. Do you agree that education is the most powerful weapon against drug crime? Should support and recovery programs for addicts be invested in more? And what can we do to encourage the younger generation to actively participate in prevention activities? Continuing the storytelling journey, we realize that the sentence of 13 years in prison, along with 5 years of supervised release, is an appropriate punishment for the seriousness of the act. It not only deters the individual offender, but also sends a message to others who are hesitating. The law always puts the interests of the community first, and this is clearly shown through the national security strategies. The Homeland Security Task Force initiative, with the goal of protecting the people, has proven its effectiveness through many successful cases. Eliminating transnational criminal organizations requires international coordination and strong resources. However, the greatest achievement is still the peace that the people enjoy. Every small victory contributes to the big picture of global security. Project Safe Neighborhoods emphasizes the role of the community in reducing violent crime. When residents participate in monitoring and reporting promptly, the security network will be tightened. Local grassroots organizations can organize events to raise awareness and build trust between people and law enforcement. This connection brings long-term benefits to everyone. In the context of Mississippi, with its hard-working people who love their families, this sentence serves as a reminder that we must not be complacent in the face of the drug threat. Each neighborhood needs its own plan to protect children and teenagers. Cooperating with schools and churches will create a comprehensive and effective support network. When looking back at the journey of the case, we see the important role of the press in providing accurate information. Transparent information helps the public clearly understand the government's efforts. From there, it creates widespread support for anti-crime campaigns. The media has the responsibility to contribute to community education. Parents should set an example by obeying the law and living healthily. Children learn more from adults' behavior than from words. A happy family with positive values will be the best environment for children to develop. Education by example brings long-term effectiveness. What plans do you have to contribute to drug prevention this year? Or what do you think the government needs to do more to support families facing difficulties? And if young people are given good job opportunities, by how much will the risk of falling into crime decrease? These questions promote specific actions from each individual. Finally, the story of Calvin Baskin comes to an end, but the lessons from it still hold full value. It is a call for joint action to build a drug-free and safer community. Each of us has an important role in this journey, whether through education or supporting the law. Let us start with the smallest actions in our daily lives to contribute to building a better future. If you feel this article provides deep insight and educational value, please like and subscribe to follow more similar content. We greatly look forward to receiving support from our valued audience. Together, let us spread positive energy and useful knowledge to a wider community.